Okay, guys. So I think we should get started now. Uh, okay, Akshat, let's start. Let's get started with
Okay,
this.
perfect. Welcome everyone once again to join who joined right now, and we'll start. So first of all, just one thing, guys, please keep noting down your doubts, keep noting down your questions. I would really love if you guys have a ton of questions after the presentation because I would love to answer each and every one of them. Okay. So first of all, what is GSoC? Now, Google Summer of Code, a lot of people say it's an internship to Google. A lot of people say it's something by Google. Well, it's honestly a CSR program by Google, which helps students get connected to the open source software, right? It's a program that they have been running for the last 15 years, and they have had tremendous efforts. And obviously, it's so famous that it's one of the most famous program on open source to be get started with it. So yeah, it helps you a lot. What are the perks related to GSoC that why should you be part of it? First and the most important thing, you get to experience the real world. You really get to experience and work with the software that's being used by people all over the world, and that's a tremendous power to have when you are in college, because when you are in college you're practically working on projects that are started from scratch from with you or with like a couple of your teammates, and you build it all through it. But just imagine working on a code base as big as like a maps application of Google, right? And just working on one part of it and seeing how it works. So you get to learn how to collaborate with people and actually work on huge code bases. And that may seem like not a lot when you're starting out, but when you actually do that, it's so much thing that you need to take care of. Like when I did Google Summer of Code and completed it, I was so much better at writing code in the future because I knew that okay, I can have this use in the future, I can have that use in the future for this particular module. So how can I use this? Second, you get to introduce to open source. Open source is something that is very close to a lot of Googlers and everyone outside who is developing, because you get to contribute to projects which are not there for profit but there for help of everyone. And something best about being a developer is that you have those powers to help everyone out there. So right now, even like given the current situation currently, we have so many projects coming up on coronavirus all over the world. We can see the power of open source that can help resolve this thing very quickly and very easily. The point of view of a student, you learn a lot in a very short period. Due to Google Summer of Code, I learned two versions of Java, three different plugins and libraries within 3 months. And it was just a tremendous amount of power package that you can get within 3 months. And the best part was I knew every bit of it because you are actually working on it while you're going. So you learn a lot. And combine all of this, then GSoC in India, specifically, you get bragging rights. And that's in India specifically, right? You get a lot of bragging rights, and yes, that's one of the benefits. Your colleges, everyone is like, oh, you got into GSoC and everything. I've had that, so I know it's pretty cool. But again, remember the idea that it's because of learning a lot. And one thing that I didn't put in the slide because it's not important, but yes, it is an incentive, the stipend that you get. It's pretty big, and earning that amount of money right now in this sector, you may feel like, this is what I wanted to do. But you need to understand that stipend is just an incentive. It's not for you to like, it's not, you are not getting paid. You just should keep it that it's a different thing. Yes, you should just be motivated by it and go forward with it. Because if you go for that, I want that stipend and that's why I'm coding, it's not going to work out. Cool. So how to get selected? Now that's the biggest question, right? 2 days we have the deadline, and you're probably like done a couple of these steps. But I'll still starting from start. I've broken down it to 3 steps, and we'll go forward with it. Now you may have your own ways. There are multiple ways to get selected, but there's one standard process that I've taken forward, which helped me get in, and which have helped me a couple of my friends to get in the same. So everyone clear till now?
Yes. If you have
Yeah.
any doubts, you can just raise your hands or write in the chat. There's no problem with it. I have one question from Kartikeya Rawat.
Yeah.
Sir, we didn't start with coding. Can we apply for GSoC? So if you're not strictly a coder.
Yeah, so we didn't start with, okay, you don't need to have a CS background as such, but you need to have one coding. Now I'll cover that, like one thing, if you don't know one particular language, or at least something that you like Python or Java or any, it could be one language. I just knew Java and I did pretty well. You need to know one language good enough, like 70% of it. Yeah, I won't say 100% because you can't be expert, but like good enough more than your school level, and somewhere around a good level that you can code a real project. If you can code a project in itself without using anyone's help in Java or in any language, you're good to go. So that's a good test. You can do that. Yeah. Okay, I know the basics. Yeah. So if see, only one thing that you can check is, yeah, if you're beginning, if you can create one project, a project that can use both front end and back end. So if you can create a like a MySQL and Java application, you're good to go. If you can code it completely on yourself, that means you don't need to use Stack Overflow a lot, because I won't keep your hopes very high and say that, because then you're going to face a lot of problems. Even if you get selected, you're going to have a lot of problems coding while you're there. Okay. Jatin, do you have anything following up on that? Okay,
I think we're good to go.
how many of you are in first year? Can I just have like, please type in your years, which year you are in? First, second.
A lot of second year people.
Okay, so I think I need to cover up some of my backstory, why I got selected in the first year.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, got it. So I have generally, most of you are from first year and second year. Yeah. See, anyone can apply. I'll tell you a bit of my backstory. Why did I get selected in first year? And first, it took me not 1 year to like just get to GSoC. I knew about GSoC since my 11th grade. Okay, and the only reason, yeah, so Abhinav, I'll come up to that. For the only reason I wanted to apply to GSoC was I wanted to make sure that, a lot of my friends wanted to go to IITs and a lot of other institutes, and I was the one of the person who is not really interested in physics and chemistry a lot, and I just got a decent percentage and everything. So one thing I want to prove that I'm good at coding, and that's enough. And I started preparing for Google Summer of Code since 11th grade or 12th grade, roughly. Like 11th, I was still learning Java. And since 12th grade, my whole motive was to learn Java at a point that I can apply for GSoC. So yes, it took me 1 year. It could take you 3 months because you are in college. You have more time on your hands. You can do much more. So the most important thing is I built a lot of projects. I built a library management system that my school uses. I built multiple projects. I learned a lot of data structures and algorithms. Like was completed my second year curriculum till college in my first year. So yes, you require that kind of knowledge to prove yourself when you are solving GitHub issues, because yes, it's a bit new for you when you are starting out on the project, and plus you need to understand that it is easy to get in once you know the skill set. So I'll just say, if you can create a project like WebHub, if you have created a project in Java Swing Core and Java knowledge, you can apply clearly. Even if you have a basic knowledge about Java and you can build an application on it, you will be good to go. So yeah, try building an application and try to build it completely on yourself. Because if you're taking a friend of your help, or if you're using a lot of Stack Overflow, Stack Overflow everyone uses, but depends on how much you need to use it. I'm not asking you to learn or mug up the concepts, but you need to know how to code. Then Abhinav, is it worth for final students with placements coming graduate? Completely. If you haven't done it till now, you should do it. Why I haven't done it, like you can do it twice only, GSoC, right? I did it once first year, and the only reason I'm not doing it, and like if I ever want to get back to like that part of me that wants to code, I'll do it in the final year. You should completely do it, because again, maximum jobs and currently the situations. So yeah, I'll come to you that way. So maximum chances that you get in GSoC is only twice. You can apply as many times as you want, but you can only get in twice. Okay, I think we are getting way ahead of ourselves. I'll answer the questions. Let's continue with the presentation. Okay, Abhinav, I'll come back to you. Okay. So starting early, how do you get selected? First of all, you start as soon as the organizations are released. Okay. As soon as the organization are released, you go out and check them. The best thing that happened with me was I was able to finalize my organization within 2 days. Like 12th of February, it was released 14th, I was finalized. Okay, this is what I'm going to apply on. A lot of my seniors thought that, take your time, take 10 days, and they're like in US and they got that time and they got selected. But I said the only early advantage that you get is that 10 to 15 days. If you get in early and if you select the organization, you are good to go. So how do you select an organization? Again, coming back to one very specific thing, what do you know? If you know Python, select that organization that has a core Python and a couple of other libraries on it. If it's core Java, do Java. If it's C++, have one skill set that you already know and then build on that. So what I did was typed in Java. I saw PMD. Okay, they have a project that's completely based on Java and XPath. I went in, I saw the issues, I saw the project. It was exciting to me. I went in and I started doing the process. First, always remember that you need to know your skill set. Once you have your skill set, you can select an organization. After selecting an organization, start to select, like how I say, choosing an organization. Now you have to select a project. How do you select a project? Download the software, download what the organization is doing. If it's Blender right now, download how the rendering process. Confused in selecting organization. I'll come to your question just a second. So first step in selecting the organization, go out and select it in the format of what you know. If you know Java or Python, if you know any language, select that particular skill set. Clear? Okay, I think Samir, I'll keep taking questions after like one part of slide, okay? Because I'll get too hampered.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Complete one section and then
Then
we'll
I'll
have
go,
a
yeah.
Q&A. That's fine,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm closing the screen of chat. Sorry. So one organization, select in the format of what do you know. So let's say I know Java and Samir knows Python. So it would be stupid for Samir or me to choose Python and Samir to choose Java, right? So he can go out and choose Python and select, okay, this is Python. These are the organizations that are there. Let's select one of them. Clear? First, select the skills. Second, let's say you have multiple options. Like Java will always have 6 to 7 options. I went through each of them. I saw which libraries are the ones that I'm more interested in and the ones that I know. So XPath and other stuff of GUI and JavaFX was something that I have never tried with until I got into GSoC. And I saw like how much time will it take me to learn during the process. So it was easy for me to learn JavaFX, but then XPath is a completely different whole ballgame. So it took me time to learn that, but I knew that this is something that I can learn and I'm excited about it. So to choose an organization, first select what your language is. Second, select a project which you know a good amount of it. So I knew Java, so that was the core. Java FX is again built on Java, so easier for me to learn and then build on it. Selecting a project, for me, I had two projects. One was a documentation based project. One was like around building a couple of features on the back end, and one was building on the front end and back end both. So I selected the first one. I selected the back end one more because the front end was not really good. But actually, when I was working towards the project, like when I was finalizing a proposal, I was more inclined towards the front end because I got pretty good at JavaFX. So yeah, now I'll come to the part of your questions. So if you don't have some of the prerequisites, will they give us time to prepare or help us? Okay. So Ajay, I think you have enough time because when you see the organizations in February, again, the first step is select and finalize an organization. So once you finalize that organization, you know that these are the requirements that they have. So you can start learning that. And then you can get clear on that. Okay, clear. Mohit, do you have any other question? And Ajay, anyone question on selecting an organization and selecting the project? I'm taking a pause, guys. If you guys want to type in, you can type in. Okay, I think no. Okay, I think everyone's clear. Great. So now about getting selected. As I've written, you were selected before the results. I knew 100% that I was going to get selected before the results came out. For one very simple reason, when you are talking to the people and admin, like obviously 19%, but I was like pretty confident that I would get selected. Was like I was talking to them and they were like, I just asked them, like simply how many chances I have. They just said you have pretty good chance. You have worked a lot. The first thing is contribute a lot to their GitHub. That's all they care about right now, to see how much your skills are. They don't know if you are a good person, if you are a bad person. They just care about what you're coding. Live and breathe that level. Literally, I would just go out every morning. I'll start on the issue. If I'm solving one issue, it will take me 3 days. Done. 3 days. By the time I've completed that, I'll switch on to next. When you selected that organization, start taking their GitHub very seriously. And honestly, it is getting better and better. They have much more documentation. They have first issue written everywhere, or GSoC issue. So go out and solve those issues, because once you're solving that, you will get familiarized with the code base and they know that you're contributing to the organization and your skill set also. So you'll be doing that even after you're selected, right? So most important is live and breathe that repo. Really just go on GitHub, do a lot of coding, work on your machine, send out commitments. It can be wrong, it can be good, they can help you out with it, but if you're not contributing, you are losing a lot. Contribute all the time, but yes, again, at the same time, be active on channels, talk about your issues. Like, don't contribute something that you have no idea about. I've seen a couple of people who were on my repository. It was a issue about Java. They were trying to solve it through another whole method that was not mentioned there, or the method that they were not using. One person started like, why can we not building this on Python? So that's something that you can, going for that. So select, be active on channels, talk about the issues they need to know, and talk to them. I was really very honest with them. I was like, I'm practicing JavaFX for the first time, and if you could give me some documentation. And now these are developers from all over the world. They're core developers. They're pretty good at industry, right? They're doing it at industry level. They sent me documentation that I would have never found on myself. And they said, okay, just check this out. And I learned JavaFX within a week, and then I was able to contribute to them more. So ask them. They need to know your process. The problem is that you guys never, what we feel, again, Abhinav, coming to your question, you see feeling overwhelmed. Why? Because you are not ready to share the honesty with them. So on your Gitter channel, on Discord, or whatever channel that whole project is working on the chat, go out and text them, okay, how can I get this done? How can I get this? Can you guide me on this project? Simply just ask them a question. They'll reply when they can. And then it's your job to follow up on that, to read the documentation, learn whatever they said, and then forward it. The problem with everyone who can't contribute or feeling overwhelmed, nobody knows to code very much in GSoC. Okay, everyone is starting out at some level. So you need to make sure that you are just doing your best, and you doing your best means, yes, talk to them, be honest, tell them what you know, what you don't, and just work on that. The problem is people ask them okay, how can you get, they send in documentation, and then people read the documentation and they feel that, okay, this is not for me, it's too difficult, I'll leave. And that leaves a bad impression. Simply work on what you know, then build on what they tell you and actually contribute. Tell them back, okay, I had this issue, I solved this in this way. Talk to them. Mentors are really there to help you guys, because here's the thing, they are working with Google to promote their organization, right? To promote their project. So it's their job, it's their guidelines, like mentor guidelines. If you read it, I read, you need to know the other person also. So yes, they are contributing a lot. So work on that. I think that answers how to decide to work on their issues. So uh, to decide on which issues to work, I think the documentation is pretty clear now. They have first issue and GSoC issues written everywhere on their GitHub repo. That's the only way you should go out and choose the issues. Because if you're not able to do the first issues, and these are very easy. Some of them are documentation based. Some of them are basically like a 5-line code or 6-line code, and some of them are actually created for students to solve on that, like very basic issue that won't affect the software in itself. It's a basically somewhere you have to change a path variable or something. So it's a very basic issue. It could be like somewhere, depends upon the difficulty of the project or depends upon the complexity of the project. So just start on those issues, because those issues are the ones that they are actually working on. They know that people will ask for help there, and they have the documentation, everything ready. I hope that clears it. Any questions on how to contribute and how to talk to them, how to talk to mentors? Okay, I think we're clear. Okay, now coming to proposals, right? First is, proposals are different for every organization. There is the biggest wrong that you can do is take one documentation and copy and paste it. Take one proposal and copy and paste it to everyone. That's going to kill your chances by a 100%. Read the documentation, read what they want. So I was just checking out check style documentation. They've specifically written that we don't care about your CV, we don't trust your CV. Please contribute to our GitHub repo and make sure that your proposal includes that GitHub tracker. A person who hasn't read the documentation will simply go out and just write a proposal in a format of, okay, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do, and go for it. Don't do that. Every organization has a specific requirements that they're going to use, and they'll get to know it very easily if you are following their template or not. Check out their documentation. Samir has a great resource on all the proposals that have been written since 2012, 2016, and everything. There is a great repo. Check that out. Read 2 to 3 documentation formats and build on that. Then use bullets. Bullets are the most important. If you are reading a proposal, just imagine writing a paragraph in it. And that's the worst thing that you can do. Write in clear bullets. So let's say you are building a camera feature or a camera module. How are you going to analyze my face? So you write down, okay, first thing is I'm going to use this toolkit. I'm going to implement in this measures. 3 to 4 points on how to do it. That's it. Right? Bullets. That's a pro tip that I got from every one of my seniors who got in, and you should always use bullets, because nobody wants to read through a paragraph. Seriously, we are all developers, and those people don't have the time to go through proposals and read every paragraph. As a project admin, simply the third tip is, as a project, I simply asked the people who were there, like, what are you expecting out of GSoC? Why did you guys contribute this time and not? And people are really forthcoming, because again, it's an open source. It's not a corporation. You're not dealing with employees from Google, right? Because they may have something that they can't share. But this is an open source organization. Everybody knows everything. So that they can contribute and tell that, okay, this is why we are focusing and this is what we wanted out of it. Learn about their expectations. Now, how do you learn about their expectations? Simply by asking them. I asked my admin, like, what are you taking out of the project? What do you want? Why are you taking in students when it's a very industry level project? And a lot of people are contributing to your open source projects already. So why do they need students to work on it? So they have their mentality, and then you can create your proposal according to that, having a bit of personal touch, right? Like at the end, my last line in my proposal was really looking forward to build better industry software. And that was like, my Clement, my mentor, he said, okay, that line actually stayed with me, that adding something of your own personal. So it could be one line, it could be one sentence, and then it could strike out. Okay, because remember one simple thing: a human is judging a proposal. Just imagine if I gave you 300 proposals to judge from, which are the ones that will be at top, not the ones that have showed the most beautiful proposal, but the ones who have contributed the most and the ones who have actually put in thought in the proposal, right? So proposals, again, read the documentation, use bullet tips, and talk to people. The biggest part of getting selected in GSoC is about talking to people beforehand. Don't wait till March. Don't wait till you are submitting a proposal. Start before, so that they know you, you know them. Because if I know, say, for example, let's say if I was reviewing all of the proposals, the only proposal that I would select from this group would be Sameer, because I only know him, right? That's a very simple example. So they need to know you in some space, okay? I actually was having so many conversations with them that one of the time that when I was in Mumbai during the GSoC period, when I was already selected, I shared a couple of photos with my family gathering when I was out, and they were like, okay, we would love to see Indian wedding. And that's the kind of rapport you build with them if you are working in a really proper firm, if they like their work and you're going with it. Okay, Samir, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. They just
Okay.
have to enable settings. So I've just
Okay.
told them. Carry on, carry
Now,
on.
yeah, that's actually it. I kept it simple and sweet. I know you must have questions. There are no silly questions. That's the most important thing. And this resource, bit.ly/gsoc resource, I'll actually like copy and paste this in the chat box so you guys can all check out something Samir has compiled. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. There are no silly questions. I would love to answer each one of them. Saw a couple of them before. So from Swapnil, for a person in his third year with his placement season coming, can you work for GSoC and prepare his placements during the summer? Yes, completely. I am currently in my third year, and it would be great if you can go out and do it right now, because here's the thing: by the time your placement season would be coming up, and placements are going to get very different this year because of the whole situation of quarantine. They're probably going to get into started in late July and late August. This is a perfect time for you to actually go out and do that, because during GSoC you will learn so much about programming, not just on the development side. You learn a lot about data structures. You learn a lot about multiple languages, backend. So yeah, I'm in first year. How did you get started with the competitive programming? Okay, Aditya. So actually, I was not a much of a competitive programmer. I find a lot of fun in development. That's why GSoC is not a competitive programming competition. It's a development competition. It's not a competition actually. It's a development program. Yeah, just one by one. Okay, so you guys can keep typing. So I'll tell, like to start with competitive programming, I did a couple of it in my first year to practice my data structures and algorithms, but I was not fond of it. Like I was not fond of it because it is something that is very very competitive. It's very like runtimes and everything. And they are like huge test cases. Something that was not exciting to me. If you want to, you can always get started with Code Chef. That was my go-to place. Because Code Chef has amazing problems. You start with basic. It's really like how you learn mathematics. Like compare competitive programming to a lot of it. Simply start at the bottom and simply you move your way up. So competitive programming is again a huge help, but it's only a huge help for learning your data structures and algorithms. If you want to learn development, try doing development. Organization that you need to. So Shriya, about the organization that you need to contribute to, well, there is not one that I can tell for you. What do you know? Again, as I said, select the language that you know or anything that you know, put that in the search box there, and then go with which organization that you want to select, which organization would be able to learn with you, like how much you know. I can actually do a demo. Give me a second. This is uh so good. Let me see. Firefox. So let's go. How is the best way to search an organization? Yep. Is my screen visible, right, Samir?
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. So basis start with Java. So now let's say now I know this is a game engine doesn't excite me. I'm not a much of a gamer, and there are a lot of things. So let's say we start with the first three because they are the I think JBoss, Java, Pathfinder. I've already worked with. They're open source. So Jexcel I was working. So you see Java and Xpath. Now I already know all three of them. So you can work on this. So simply this is the format. Just check out and then you learn, okay, this is the organization. Now, Torsology, I've never been excited. It's a gaming foundation that doesn't help me work on, this. So that's simply what I want you to understand, that work on whatever you want, but select. If you know Android, if you know Java and Python, work on this. If you're good at both of those things, you can help them. So select on the basis of what feels right to you. Okay. Now, okay, Ziad has a question. How to stand, okay, first I have Ayush. Which development you prefer? I think I'll require a bit of clarity on that question. Ayush, can you explain a bit what do you want to ask? Ziad, how to stand out in crowd? There are thousands of applications for each project. Actually, there are not. There are not thousands of applications. 2007 statistics showed that there were 4,200 applications for all the organizations that were there, and there is a 20% acceptance rate. But again, to stand out in any project, the only thing that you can do is contribute. The person who has contributed the maximum and is communicating at the same time. If you're just a great coder and if you can't talk to people, you won't get anywhere in GSoC. You need to code and talk to them on their channels, because if you're not doing that, that would be really a bummer for them, because they don't know what kind of process you are. They don't know you. They don't know who Ziad is. They just know that he's a person who can code. You can ask your, elder brother who's in someone or your friend to code for you, and they don't know you. So you need to make sure that you're coding at the same time you're interacting with them. Okay, I think that covers it. Abhinav Gupta, I shortlisted 2 to 3 organizations based on Java, but haven't had an open source contribution yet. And this is my last chance to get into GSoC. How likely are the chances? Okay, Abhinav, if you have selected, shortlisted the organizations, the best part is for me, 26th March, I submitted my project, and then we had 4th, 5th April where we were getting results. You still have a month. So if you have selected 2 to 3 organizations, apply to all three of them, because again, if you are on short notice and you haven't contributed yet, apply to all three of them, but have one that is for sure. Like the most efforts should go towards one organization, and start contributing from today, from little today. Like don't wait for like I'll have something and then start right now after this seminar. Go out and start contributing to those organizations. Have that one organization that you contribute crazily to, and they have 1 month period to actually declare the results. So they will have that time to evaluate your process and see that, okay, you are contributing now, you may have some issues, so they understand that. But talk to them that I'm contributing for GSoC, I'm a GSoC student, and I've submitted my proposal, please go through it. And they are there for like understanding, yes, you are there contributing. So start with one organization. As only 2 days left, Mohit. So Mohit, yes, again, I know me and somebody discussing that this is very last minute, because we were like quarantine happened and everything, or else this would have started in March already. We're planning this for quite a time. So yes, you can do the whole process. First thing is complete your proposal right now, because you have that 1 month grace period right now from March to, I think, 4th May is the date, right, of the results, if I'm not wrong. So 4th May, you have that 1 month. During that time, you can start contributing and talk to them now that, okay, I have submitted a proposal and now I'm working on it. And when you work on the project, they'll recognize that, yes, you are contributing enough, and then they'll be able to. But again, keeping your expectations real at this time, you will have to contribute much more, and that you're in quarantine, you can contribute much more. So do that, because a lot of students would be doing this since February. Okay. I'm doing web development, Saransh. Saransh, you will have to check that. I don't know every project that is there on GSoC. Swapnil, building a good connection is not that tough, but I'm connected to my mentor through Gmail now. Should I build a good connection to increase my chance of selection? Yes, Swapnil, you should build a good connection, but what does that good connection means is not like having formal and informal in the mix, but have a lot of formal conversations and then a bit of informal if you want to add that. A good connection is if you have a good understanding between both of them. If your mentor can understand you and you can understand him, that's a good connection. Okay, Aditya has, can we choose more than, yes, you can choose 3 organizations and you can apply to all 3 of them. So yeah, Sid, is it preferred to stick to one organization? Well, you can actually do that, but I'll say don't stick to one. I did 2 organizations. One was like the one I was pretty sure was, and one was my backup option, just to have my chances. So I'll say there, if you want to really put in a lot of efforts, I could only put in 2 because selecting 3 organizations, contributing to each of them is very difficult. So yeah, go for 2 organizations. That's my recipe for efforts, that you can actually work on 2 organizations at a very good level, contribute enough in each of them, build a good rapport with mentors, and go forward with there. So start with 2 organizations. So that's what I'll say. So means web, Android, and all this. One more doubts on how to create an open source project. How to do that? Okay, Ayush, I think Samir, we need probably a seminar on GitHub. So Ayush, you have to create a project on GitHub. There, GitHub is the open source library where all of this happens. So you can go out and check that out. I can share you some resources. Probably we can have a chat after this on this. So yeah, I think you are asking about how to create an open. Yeah, so you have to, like, any project is open source when more than your friends are contributing to it. So that's an open source project, but you build that on GitHub. So how can you do that? There you can create a repository on GitHub, and I think that's a completely different lecture. Samir, we can probably take this up later. You mean we can contribute before they shortlist the students? Yes, Ajay, you can contribute. That's how they shortlist the students. If you're contributing, then only they'll shortlist you. So start contributing from today. If you're applying for proposals, complete your proposal by tonight and then start contributing completely. But not having good knowledge of deep learning. Karthik, then it's a great time to actually learn a lot about it, because every issue that there is, it's a technical issue, and you can learn a lot about it, learn about that particular issue and code that and make sure that it's the right answer, and then learn through deep learning. The best part about GSoC is don't take it as a competition. That's one biggest mistake of every Indian student that is actually done. Take it as a learning process. So you learn a lot. So if you're contributing to TensorFlow, learn about deep learning, learn about that particular project or particular problem, solve it, and then go forward with it. How do we have to write in that? Okay, Nikisha, I covered that, how to start writing the proposal. So a proposal shall include, basically, let's say if you are writing a proposal for PMD, you can say PMD, and then my project was very simple. I was building an XPath variable and doing a documentation on it. So building out an XPath variable, you write that. How are you going to build it? Heading, bullet points, heading, bullet points, and timeline. So I started from my May to June, I'll be doing this. June to July, I'll be doing this, and July to August, I'll be doing this. And that's all you should do. It's a very simple process. And Samir has linked out a great resource. I think he'll actually send it to on your group, so you can check that out. They have all the resources there. I was just saying, I have one proposal that I have to make a grade. Suggest something in committing a best proposal. So the only thing that you can commit in a proposal is what they want, and I can tell you that one thing that you can commit in a best proposal. Yes, everyone has to, like, you need to have, if your proposal, Ajay, is customized to that organization, you will get in. If you know that this is what they wanted, because I don't know, I'm not the mentor on these organizations, right? So if that's one thing that you like, go and commit on it. Okay, it's an organization that requires 3 tech, but I know only 2 of them. What should I do? Completely fine, Hitesh. If you know 2, that's good to go. I knew 1 when I was starting out. The point is, can you learn the other 2, or can you learn the one that is left? If you can learn, then that's great. If you can't learn, then you will learn, because anything, you are here, you are learning. So just make sure that you can learn. Okay, Hitesh, I think that clears it. Just learn that on. It's fine. You can apply right now. Even if you know one language, you're good to go. But you should have the knack of learning. If you want, like, okay, now I'm in, I don't want to do anything, you're not going to go anywhere. Developers have to learn every day. So yeah, what are all kinds of organizations are there? So yes, I think that's a vague question. There are a lot of kinds of, there are web development based, backend, front end, and there are like multiple places that I have. Like, there are multiple organizations. You can check out the whole list on there. From, okay, Dark, he has written privately, I'm not prepared enough to apply for GSoC now. Second year, I need one to apply. There are no disadvantages of applying even in the 4th year. You can go out and apply. It's completely fine. There is, again, guys, the problem, India has the maximum participants in GSoC, right? So people think, these are the process. It is not a problem. You can apply whenever you want. The point is, do your best and you learn through it. And even if you're hooked to open source, it will help your job profile immensely, because a lot of people will check out your GitHub on how much code you know. So even if you're starting out and contributing in your 3rd year or your 4th year, you will do great. Yeah. Anything else? Do we have any other questions? Samir, have you got any on private?
Okay, so I don't think there are any other questions. I would just like to ask, how many of you are applying this year in GSoC?
So that's quite a
Amazing,
good number.
amazing.
That's great. That's great. Because again, Samira, kudos to you, yeah. Because when I was applying, like I think probably like there were 10, 15 people from Bhopal who knew about the program and who were applying. So great to see this. Seriously, it makes me happy. Like finally there is something that's happening on a bigger level. That's great. See, Karthik, I'll say still apply. You'll still learn a lot through the process. If it's okay, it's not contributed because you should apply. And the point is that if you're applying, you'll learn a lot in the process also. So apply and go forward with that. Jatin, yes, there is a chance to get selected if you're ready to make sure that the next 15 days of your quarantine, you're completely working on that one repository in GitHub and contributing a lot to it. Is it profitable if you put icons and clipart into proposal which shows a solution in a more obvious way? Abbas, so they already have the solution. They know what they want to build. But I won't prefer it. I'll just say that my proposal was very simple. I just added PMD logo, my name, and then I started the proposal. I didn't have any other graphics or anything because developers, my mentor, I think you can talk to your mentor, what kind of a person is, you get to know through that interaction. You add it, it depends on mentor to mentor. Some may like it, some may not, and I don't think it's going to affect a lot on the process. So to enroll in GSoC from your college, so Shashank, you can simply get an email. Actually, you just need an ID card. I had to just submit an ID card back in 2018, and my college had to send me a letter that he's eligible to participate in GSoC and all of that. You can just get an email, that would work. So I don't think a lockdown should affect it. Ajita, again, you'll have to check. I haven't checked if there is a organization related to. I missed. Is that girl script summer of code? Yeah. And which would be the best one since I'm a beginner in open source, but I have knowledge and have decent knowledge and get skills. So again, I think I haven't been much part of the girl script community or worked on their projects, but I don't think there is a lot of difference. And it's okay for a beginner. And if you have decent knowledge, you can completely go out with it. Like my first program for open source was GSoC. GSoC isn't an internship, so which is more preferable, GSoC or an internship? GSoC by any means, because until unless you're getting an internship at Google, and if you are getting in, please, that's great. But I know like maximum of you won't. So GSoC is preferable in any manner through an internship, because an internship, if you're doing it like Facebook, Google, Microsoft, obviously that is not a question that I need to answer for you. So GSoC is preferable for any internship. If you are, here's the thing: how much are you going to earn on the internship? You're going to earn like 10,000, 50,000. How much you're going to earn on GSoC is going to be around $2,000, $3,000, right? And that's an amazing payout. So on every basis, on economic basis, on basis of learning, it's GSoC. What should our approach in the period when organization are selecting students? So during that period, Aditya, the worst thing that you can do is stop contributing. If you do that, your chances are done. You should keep contributing during this. And while you're contributing, the process would be like learning a lot of that, and going forward, contributing during the selection process is immensely profitable for you, because they have your name in the back of their mind, because these people keep checking their repositories every night or whenever they're free from work, so they'll remember you and they'll be able to get there. I missed the business. Can you please tell again what to choose? So Ajit, there is a website you can just Samira's website. Just check out the organization. Okay. And guys, one thing I like to tell to everyone: don't take GSoC as a competition. Don't take that if you are not getting in GSoC, you will not be able to do anything. That is not at any cost relatable to anything. GSoC is a great program. If you can get in, great. If you don't, it's fine. Yeah, Margesha, I know your question. I'll just get back to you. So simply don't take it as a competition. I understand that a lot of people like, I want to get in GSoC. Getting in G is great, but don't take it as that if you don't get in, you are not good enough. It's not. A lot of my seniors who are working in USA right now and are working there, they didn't get into GSoC. They are doing pretty fine for their life. So really, it's not a big deal. And even just imagine all of the IITs also don't ever get in. Like they're very Like that number is coming down every time from which college they are coming in. So it's really just a program, and take it as a program. Will we be able to connect with the mentors after submitting proposals? Yes, you can commit to your connect with your mentors when after submitting the proposals simply by going to the channels, that is Gitter or Discord, whichever you're working with. So yeah, you can go out. I am more into competitive and not much into daily. What do you think the odds for a person like me to get selected for GSoC? Well, I don't know. Dark is written. What's your name? So simply, I'll just say, if you're into competitive coding, can you apply those into development? Because again, they're very relative. If you're good at coding and if you're understanding structures and something, a person who's coming from development have some trouble in getting into competitive coding. But I haven't seen the vice versa, because when I was doing competitive coding, jumping back into development was much easier for me and much faster for me, because I was able to understand a lot of concepts very easily, like data structures and working on skills, linked list, or anything you're working on, you learn a lot very quickly. So you can jump into it, and if you can do a couple of projects, like try to build a simple backend plus front end project right now. And if you can do that, or if you can map it out also, you will be able to do great. Would it be nice to ask about my chances being selected and regarding that building good connection thing due to different time zones? It almost takes a day for a mentor to reply me on Gmail. Any suggestion how could make the best out of my few mails which I sent? So Swapnil, again, you shouldn't ask your mentor about your chances of getting selected. Okay, it should be a very informal conversation. Don't ask that question directly, because then that would be like, I don't know, pretty bummer. Nothing else. Just like, don't ask that question. We used to have a lot of, if you're doing Gmail emails, don't ask that. You're doing a lot of informal conversation with Getter, so you can do that. A good connection thing, it's fine. My mentor one was in Argentina, and the other was in Germany. So again, it's a global resource. It's fine. It's different time zones. You don't need to be their friend. You just need to know that they can connect with you, and you connect with them. So you just need to have that kind of a professional connection between both of you. And if you have that, you'll obviously understand it through the tone of their emails. And writing anything specific on emails is not really necessary. If you are working, like if you're talking to them over emails, just stick to the topic, and yeah, and pretty much like add one, maybe, hi, how are you, or how is it there in Germany? I used to like to ask like how are things there. He sent me like, he actually got me a couple of things when he was traveling to France and mailed it to me. So I have an amazing keychain from him that he sent. So again, it's crazy. You just have to have that kind of connection with them. I think there should be a couple of more questions. Not a problem, Swapnil. Thanks. Anyone else? If you have a big question, you can even like you can ask somebody to switch out your microphone. You can do that. Hi, thanks.
Guys, if you have any questions and you want to ask via audio, you can just raise your hands or write in chat. I'll unmute you. No problem with that.
It's been crazy for me. Like, if I could motivate you, great. Because I'll just say, a lot of you are in first and second year, right? I see that. Do your best and take it as a learning for everything that you're doing. And I'll just say, like, Samira shared so many great resources on WhatsApp and everything else. So do those courses if you are like just starting out with development or learning a new skills. Like right now, it's crazy. I would have preferred if Coursera gave everyone for free instead of just US and Europe. But yeah, Coursera or Udacity. Anyone else? Any questions? Saransh. So Samir, I think there is someone who is not in a WhatsApp group.
Okay, I'll just check.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Is anything else? I think they're done.
Okay, so if it is fine with you, Akshat, I can say something.
Sure. I had this like, if you want to connect with me, I'm on LinkedIn and email. When I'll just actually type those things there. Sure, please go ahead. Sorry, it's your.
Okay, so I've actually written a Medium article about how to write your proposals. So again, as Akshat said, it totally depends on your organizations. I have seen some organizations just wanted a very brief idea on their own platform and a Google Doc link of their proposal, which is very, very basic. And that's fine with them too. Some require your CV, your past contributions, which is a necessary thing for them, although it is not actually necessary. You can't just stop someone from participating in GSoC just because you don't have, you haven't contributed in the past. So that's fine too. So what I did was I went over 100 proposals, and I have linked the proposals in the GSoC resource. I shared with you. I'll share the link again. So what I found was some learnings which are worth sharing. So I'll start with some. So first of all, structure is very, very important. You can't just write everything in a paragraph and expect you to get selected. Structure is very important. Readability, I'm a Python developer, so we value that a lot. Readability in a document is very important also, because you can't imagine you are a mentor and you have to go through the proposals Google has selected for you. You can't just uh, like go through them individually, line by line sometimes. Although many mentors do that, and it's very good that they do that, but some of the popular organizations like Mozilla, FOSS Asia, they require you to send maybe in a strict format also, and sometimes they don't go line by line in it. Your proposal, you can't just put up stories in there. So structure is very, very important. I've seen some unique proposals, and they are in the link. Some of them chose to do a structure of FAQ. So they didn't mention headlines, they only had questions. So about me, so that was a question. How did I come to know about this organization? How can I contribute? What is my milestones? They put their proposal in a very FAQ format, which is also good for readability. Apart from that, although I wouldn't say that, although many of the ideal proposals that were accepted, I went through them. They had a good thing. They were very uh, to the point, straightforward. So not much theory there, not much about how they are going to do it. Uh, I would say, in a brief, if, in a nutshell, I would say they were ideal proposals. All you had to do after looking at them was to code. So they made the mentors believe that they had everything sorted out, and they only had to code now. They listed out their milestones for phase one, phase two, and phase three evaluation. They had the task, the primary goals they wanted to achieve with this project, if it was a new project, or any issues they wanted to solve if in an existing project. So there are many existing projects also. It's not just new projects that you have to build. Many of the existing projects have open GitHub issues, and they basically listed all the issues they were going to solve in this 3 months based on the projects their mentors have selected. Um, Although many of this thing will differ, this is just a generalization I was able to come up with. Uh, they illustrated about themselves. So there was a very good section of about you in one of the proposals I went through. I'll just list the headlines. So the guy had an about you section. He had his experiences in and education, basically listed out in just bullet points of 2, 3 bullet points. Coding skills in programming languages, frameworks, or version control. So Git is not the only version control. There are many others, and some organizations don't use Git, and that's totally fine. Apart from that, a very important headline that I came up with. Okay, I just got muted. So sorry for that. Am I audible? Okay, okay, cool. Great. Sorry for that. So one of the many important headlines that I believe is like you should absolutely do it, although it is not necessary, is telling them why you chose the project you chose. So it's not just the milestones you want or the headlines or the code implementation you would be doing. It's also about the idea, like the principles and the ideology behind the project. So it is open source. Even though Google is paying you money to do it, open source itself is not uh, relying on money to go on. It is a volunteering thing. So you should totally mention why you chose the project. Again, it's up to you. It's totally fine if you don't. There are many proposals who didn't have this section, but were good enough on their own. Um, there's also this good section in about you. It was other commitments. So you are a human being, and I I don't think we have any aliens in the participants today. You're a human being and you have other commitments too. So you should absolutely, if you can, list down any other commitments, your semester exams, any internships you might be having simultaneously, which is not preferable, but let's hope you're not doing that. So any other commitments you have, you can devote about 60 hours, 30 to 60 hours for the program, and you can tell the mentors or you can tell the organizations, "Ki, I have these other commitments and I will attend to them, but I will make sure my milestones for the phase and the evolution is covered." You can list that. There's also one very popular headline I've seen, which also Akshat mentioned, I hope. Uh, it was the detailed timeline of your deliverables. So, although it's a little difficult to boil it down because you can't just mention dates and you'll absolutely complete the task by then because you have this thing in programming called bugs. I am very sure every one of you are familiar with it. You often come across bugs, and there's so many things you have to tackle in it. You have to do internal testing, unit testing, all kind of testing in between the projects sometimes, and you just can't complete it. So if you can boil it down to that level, you can give a detailed timeline of your deliverables in week, maybe in weeks. It's a weeks based program, so you can specify you'll complete this in 1 week, the next week you'll be working on this task. I'm sure Akshat would agree to this. And there's also this section of testing and verification. It is very limited to some projects who require extensive testing. You can mention how you're going to test your code, and if it is the norm of the organization to test with those testing tools. And at the end, you can always mention references, uh, which doesn't mean some people, it means links. So links to any other things you want to share about. For example, any other contribution you have made, any other personal projects, which you didn't mention in your about section. So that's all. I remember Abbas asking you a question about if you can include icons and clip arts. Um, it totally depends on the organization. As Akshat also said that he didn't include any icons except the organization logo, which is totally fine. Some mentors like that. Some organizations are strictly based on that format only. Some organizations are very flexible. They expect you to do some things. So what they do, what some of the proposals I went through did was they had a project implementations section where they created diagrams, flow charts kind of, or maybe an API front end back end connection things. So you can do that also. You can always make up your own headlines. You can totally make proposal according to yourself. There is no strict format. You can totally go according to you. And that's all I had. That's what 100 plus proposals taught me. Is there any questions that I can attend to right now? Okay. Okay, any other questions? Okay, I don't think we have any other questions. So okay. So what do you think? Was this webinar helpful to you in getting started with this um, amazing program, development program of GSoC? You can mention it on chat. Okay, okay, great, 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 great. So many of you couldn't attend. If you know someone who couldn't attend because of any attendee limit or any other thing, we are recording this session. We'll be uploading the link on our YouTube channel and we'll be distributing the link. So no problem with that. Um, I hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you so much, Akshat, for doing this on such a short notice. I'm sorry, you have been muted. I'm so sorry. Just give me a sec. Yeah, I think you can unmute yourself.
Yeah. So yeah, honestly loved it. Sami, like it was a great session, and now begin. I'm so glad to see that you have like built up such an amazing community that is so excited to be part of Google Summer of Code, because I think I have seen how it was in 2017, 2018 when we like starting out this career, and great work. And I love the interacting with you guys. If you have any questions, I've like shared my LinkedIn, text me there. And yeah, it was amazing. And I hope probably like last like I hope 10 to 15 people get selected from Bhopal, like keeping the expectation right. It would be great. And then we get a more session like this. Awesome. Thanks a lot for inviting me, Samir. It was a great session. Thanks, man.
Thank you so much, Akshat. I'm just posting the links for follow-ups. Akshat, can you just post your LinkedIn link again? That would be helpful to them. I'm also posting the link to GDG Bhopal. You can message us over there, and I'll send you any links you want, and also the link to the resources for GSoC. Okay, guys. Any other thing you want to mention? Anything else? Anything else? Okay. Thank you so much, Akshat. Okay, I think we can. Would be really helpful if you can tell us a bit about GitHub sometime. Okay. Uh, I'll just send you. I've already sent the link to GDG Bhopal's meetup link. It would be great if you can join there. Um, we'll be having a session on GitHub soon because a lot of people need some help in getting started with open source. So if you are interested, please join us over at GDG Bhopal's meetup link. Uh, I hope in the next coming weeks, we'll be having a session on open source, getting started with it, and GitHub, obviously. You can attend that. Uh, Probably we can have some hands-on, and then we'll wrap it up. It will be helpful to you. Just join us on the link. I've already shared the resource link. Okay, we have question from Praveen. Hi Akshat, it looks like I missed the whole session. UK got a time change to DA. Okay. So this is just a homekeeping announcement. I'm recording the session. I'll be uploading the recording of the session and I'll be notifying all of you through Meetup, through GDG's Meetup link. So I would request all of you to join there. You can get the recording link over mail or in the comment uh, there only. Okay. I don't have questions, but I have an idea since there are many beginners. Can we all work on theme on a basic project? Pack it up. Okay. Since there are not many participants left, I'll just give you a heads up about what we are going to do. So Google Summer of Code is actually a very daunting task for some of you. I would say it was me for the first time when I tried to apply it. I also applied in a very popular organization, Debian. So it seems a little bit overwhelming. Am I audible? Am I audible? I'm so sorry. My net just went off. Just tell me if I'm audible. Okay. So sorry for that. So uh, I was just telling you that GDG Bhopal, what we thought is if it's it's totally possible that since Akshat also said that there's only a 20% acceptance rate, so it's a bit overwhelming for the developers who don't get selected. What we're going to do is we're starting this hackathon, which is strictly not a hackathon actually. It's not a 3-4 day thing. We'll be doing it over 2 weeks with the same format as GSoC. And we will be working on projects not related to COVID only. It is based on COVID-19 since we are all struggling to find any solutions for that, and hopefully with the great work of our scientists, we'll be able to do that soon. But till then, at least we can focus on creating solutions which are in our expertise. So we'll be doing a COVID hackathon over the next 2 weeks. We'll be announcing the date soon, and you can all apply. What we'll be doing there is we'll be pairing up beginners with mentors from Google and Facebook and other good companies in the industry. We'll be mentoring them over their projects, and in 2 weeks with three evaluations like there are in GSoC, we'll be having this hackathon. And at the end of the project, hopefully you will have at the end of this program, you'll have a good project to showcase to the world, and maybe follow up with that. You can create your own open source organization with that. Who knows? A lot of good projects were started in the times of despair. So nothing is official here. This is just a secret heads up to all of you. We are going to organize this hackathon very soon. So all the beginners who are looking forward to learning to contribute to open source and creating products while working remotely, which is going to become the norm, maybe I think soon. You should totally join it. Obviously, we'll be promoting it all over the internet as far as I can and we can reach. And you should totally join if you can. That would be great for you. Any other questions? Also, please don't tell about this hackathon to anyone else. Yeah, I'll just forward the WhatsApp group link. We don't have a specific one created just for GDG Bhopal or GSoC as such. I'm just going to give you a link. You can join over there. It is of Developer Circle Facebook and our GDG Bhopal. So basically, we have this Bhopal Coders community, which is managing both GDG Bhopal and developer circles from Facebook Bhopal. You can join us over there. It would be great to have the conversation going. I have sent the WhatsApp link in the chat. Any other questions if you have? We can wrap up the session afterwards. Anything else? If I can unmute some of you, you can share your experience of the meetup. Anyone who wants to volunteer? Anyone who wants to share anything related to this webinar? You can just raise your hands. No one? Okay, no problem with that. Okay, great having you here. Thank you so much again, Akshat, for taking this webinar. Let's hope at least one of you gets selected in. I'm keeping my hopes high. Let's hope 15 of you get selected in GSoC from Bhopal or the community. Thank you so much for attending our webinar again. It was great having you all. This was our first webinar, and let's hope the streak continues. Thank you everyone for attending, and thank you so much, Akshat, for taking this in such a short time. Thank you so much. See you around. Um, okay, see you around. Just stay safe. Keep washing your hands. Stay safe, everyone. Thank you.